Once upon a time, in the age of the eternal cylinder, there lived a family of little creatures called the Trebhum. Trebhum are not the strongest, nor the fastest, and they do not have sharp teeth. They would make easy prey for the terrible force that came to their planet. But Trebhum are loyal and resourceful and very, very stubborn. It is with such a Trebhum that our story begins. One clever little creature born into a cruel world who would be instrumental in bringing prosperity to its kind. Run, something inside him said, run. The great crushing thing, the great cylinder, had stopped. Perhaps it was safe here for a little while. How quickly it learned to use its legs and its trunk. But these things were not so much learned as they were remembered. Perhaps the little Trebhum thought they were a gift from the strange voice it heard in its mind. That too was a kind of memory. Just when it was starting to get used to its legs, the food from the jumping creature gave it new ones. With the right substance as a catalyst, a Trebhum can transform and adapt to many challenges. The Trebhum was drawn to a bright light, or perhaps to the creature next to it. Except for the grass growing on the old one's head, they were very much alike. Surrounded by this light, the Trebhum knew things it had not known before. It knew the older Trebhum had carried this light for a long, long time, and it knew that now that responsibility had passed to the next generation. Yes, this young Trebhum had to carry the light to those great towers in the distance. It could have stayed here to learn many old things, but the cylinder would not allow it. Run, the inner voice said, run. The towers would not stop the cylinder unless they were activated. Quickly, the Trebhum had to step on the symbol or the cylinder would not be stopped. The voice inside the Trebhum's memories assured it that while the tower stood, the Trebhum would be safe. The power of the Eternal Cylinder was contained for now. This relative tranquility gave the Trebhum a chance to think about its family. Trebhum are not meant to live alone, so where were the others? The egg had been abandoned, but it could still be made to hatch. All that was needed was a source of heat. Finding another Trebhum was a cause for joy, but this new friend was not well. Deep inside the memories it had inherited, the Trebhum found the answer. To recover, its friend needed a very specific substance, which appeared as glittering clusters of crystal dust. This dust was not natural. Only a great Trebhum could create it. And so it was on the achievements of previous generations that the newborn Trebhum would have to rely. Luckily, it seemed a wise and powerful Trebhum had passed through here some time ago. This door had been built for Trebhum. It gave them hope that in this large and dangerous world, some places had been made for them. Somehow this ancient statue transferred knowledge to the Trebhum. It was as if a memory had been stored inside it, waiting for someone to absorb it. And as soon as this knowledge had entered their minds, the Trebhum realized that there was a great library of information hidden away in the web of their memories. But why was the knowledge of a specific ingredient placed here in this Trebhum made of stone? Inside the cave, the Trebhum found a living elder. It had been waiting in this chamber for a long, long time. The elder told them it was happy to see some friends before the cylinder came. It said, "You are young, so you never knew the time when our people could shapeshift at will. We Trebhum are inheritors of a vast tree of abilities, abilities passed on to all future Trebhum. But this power is being taken away. Beware the servants of the cylinder. They will seek to hurt you at every opportunity, and they have the power to rob you of your abilities. But if you persevere, one day you will find a way to protect yourselves from their evil light. Farewell, my brave friends. I fear I am too old and tired to join you. May you find a way to prosper in this time of struggles." It was not easy to leave the cave, but the elder had urged them to go forward. Suddenly they felt the weight of their many tasks. To find their Trebhum siblings, to restore the powers their people had lost, and it all seemed a little daunting. But even when they are afraid, Trebhum are stubborn. The cylinder resumed its destruction. Nothing could stop it forever. They needed to roll to safety, to find another tower to protect them quickly. Trebham found themselves almost as lost as they had been in the beginning. But the voice in their memories comforted them. It was only natural to be confused, it said. They had been born into a strange, broken world, cut off from the history of their ancestors. Everyone was a little lost these days. What mattered was to keep going, to keep looking for answers, to keep carrying the light they held within them, the light that stopped the cylinder. In this strange, eerie temple, the Trebham felt something stir in their memories. There was a great power in this place, something from the days when even the elders were young. Perhaps it could help them. The Trebham were disoriented for a moment. Something new had entered their memories and they needed to make sense of it. It seemed to be a map. And on this map, a location had been marked. If they understood correctly, there was some manner of serpent, a guardian, a greater being of some kind, somehow linked to a safe haven. Could they find refuge there? Their ancestors must have created this map for a reason. What manner of strange beast lurked behind the cylinder? The Trebham were deeply unsettled by this new mystery. But though some part of them was curious, they were certain it would be best not to find out. As their fear faded, the Trebhum started feeling weak and tired. With all the excitement and adventure, they'd neglected their most basic needs. The sound of an empty stomach reminded them that survival requires more than escaping from danger. You also have to eat. Luckily, one of the many gifts of the Trebhum is the capacity to store food in their bodies. But they still need to digest it to gain the vital energy that gives them strength. And for such small creatures, they do require rather a lot of food. Fortunately, the savannah was rich in flora and fauna which would satisfy their little bellies without necessarily triggering a mutation. The Trebhum felt a great power flowing through this cave, but they were not afraid. The power felt familiar, even friendly. These glowing structures were the work of their ancestors. cylinder roared with fury. The voice on their memories spoke with great urgency. The Trebhum had to be very careful now. The cylinder would lash out at the lad, but it would not let them run too far. To survive, they would have to stay in the eye of the storm. As frightening and surprising as this enormous creature was, the Trebhum felt a sense of relief to see it descend from the sky. This was the celestial being they'd been told to seek. Perhaps it held an answer to their troubles. As they approached the colossal creature, their optimism faded. It did not seem to like them at all. And now they realized what terrible danger they were in. If this creature guarded the way to some holy place, then that place must lie below it. And being so large, the creature most likely could not see what was in front of it, or beneath it. So perhaps the size of the Trebhum was an advantage after all. Perhaps they could reach the platform right under the serpent's head. Relieved at having bested the Guardian, the Trebhum now found themselves seeking the help they had been promised. Who would answer their questions in this place? Even with the light, the maze was difficult to traverse. Was there some clue in the structures on the walls? Was the path of sand on the ground meant to help them? Perhaps others had walked in this place long ago and tried to leave a path for those who would one day follow them. Encountering another elder was a happy moment. The Trebhum asked how they might survive the cylinder, and the elder replied, "I can feel your fear, little ones. Ever since this cataclysm began, we have been seeking ways to stop it. But the cylinder is relentless and indestructible. It will consume everything in its path. So, perhaps what we need to do is go behind it. I have discovered a mutation that allows us to rise into the sky. You must seek a weeping tree from which grows a special fruit that floats as it becomes ripe. It is the key to the transformation I have undergone. With it, you can use geysers to float well above the cylinder's height. My only regret is that I have grown too old and weak to help you with this task. If you find any glimmer of hope on the other side, remember me. Farewell." Sadness and fear filled the Trebhum's hearts as they left the Elder's cave. Their only path to salvation was full of uncertainty, and they could not forget the thing they had seen lurking behind the cylinder, casting a dark shadow over this glimpse of light. The Trebhum had never seen this mysterious tree the elders spoke of. They would have to keep moving forward and hope it lay somewhere ahead. The cylinder would give them no other choice. They were still nowhere near the mysterious tree they were supposed to find. But the voice in their memories encouraged them. It was wise in matters of root and rock, and it could sense the soil under their feet changing. Step by step, they were getting closer.
You